Hello, welcome to the Snap UK. We're almost at a full house. Almost.
Ooh.
Griff decided he'd rather...
Mourn the loss of Bill.
I was going to say, did the Patriots win this weekend?
No, because it's the playoffs.
They didn't lose, though.
No. It's normally if they win.
Well, they lost something this weekend, but it's myself, Gary, Jim, Paul. We're at Chateau Paul.
I mean, also, the Pats are doing what I'm doing next season, which is planning for Mayo.
By next season, do you mean spring?
Oh,
Cheeky couple of barbecues.
it's going to be lovely.
We'll get into them. Nice.
Jim is wearing a t-shirt that purely says barbecue. I've got one that says Mac Daddy on. So
There we go.
Mine's just got a picture of an otter.
Obviously.
Paul's semi-naked.
Yeah. Oh, Man United. Oh, I bought.
Oh, my word.
I didn't. I picked that up for your wife. Anyway, good weekend, wasn't it?
I enjoyed it.
I mean, the games weren't great, but this is what you get with the Super Wildcard weekend.
They weren't.
The Cowboys being eliminated.
I think there was lots of good surprise results.
Some good
Wouldn't say
storylines.
shocks. All of them weren't shocks, but surprise results, good storylines, but some really disappointing,
There was no
games in terms of how close they were.
there was no thriller, was there?
No, I
Really?
think I didn't watch the Rams game, the Rams Lions game, but that everyone that watched
Okay,
that said
close.
that was very close, and that was really quite good to watch. The rest, by half time, you knew the result, didn't you? So.
I don't know, not all of them, but we'll get into it. But yeah, but we'll start off with the NFC East because it's had a bad weekend, and there could be a lot of changes. So. All season, we've gone about how brilliant the Dallas Cowboys are at home, and they have been brilliant at home. They have torn teams apart, bad teams.
But
But
say two of those teams are the Giants and the Commanders.
yeah,
Tommy DeVito gave them No, he
didn't.
no, because as well we played them, I think at Dallas with Jones, who got 0 points.
Yeah.
I think they beat us 40-0. But anyway, they have been brilliant at home, and were the only home team to lose this.
What were they scoring? Like 38 points on average.
Yeah.
They haven't lost at home since the beginning of last season as well.
Yeah. No, it's. I had a feeling the Packers could win, but because it was at AT&T,
Yeah.
and I know you look at it now, and you like Aaron Jones is brilliant at AT&T Stadium. Like
He's local, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a Texas boy.
Yeah.
We all said it on the text beforehand. We all think the Cowboys are going to win, but would sneakily like the Packers to win. I think most people probably said that.
Oh, I don't know.
No.
Just fed up of playing the Packers and every year in
I
the
know.
playoffs.
Do you know what
It's
I'm
a
most-
different Packers, though, isn't it?
What I'm most fed up of this entire NFL season. Here we go!
Shut up.
Knowing that's not going to be in any further games.
Here we go. Out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But Jordan Love almost did it back to him, didn't he, right at the end of the game as well?
Yeah.
Took the piss out of him.
Good.
But Jerry Jones was he was absolutely distraught, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You could tell it. They really believed all the hype.
Yeah,
in Dallas.
I did say on Twitter, I said I just want one camera focused on him for the whole game, just to
I,
watch
I,
him.
I saw some people asking for it to be like available on
Yeah.
Peacock or something. They said they would actually pay $7 to
Yeah.
watch
Player cam.
just to
on
watch
Jerry Jones.
If I could have a Jerry Jones cam with a heart monitor so I could see his heart.
I thought he was going to go full David Tepper and just start robbing things at the fans.
I mean, yeah. Better than the Ursay heart monitor that.
Who had to
Too
have
soon?
a heart monitor
You went there
fitted.
quick.
Yeah.
Too soon? Anyway. But yeah, no. I mean, as well, if you're Dan Quinn, that is the worst, like, pre-interview thing you could have where it all went wrong.
To be fair,
All-
it's keeping consistently Dan Quinn, which is, when it matters, it craps the bed.
It was really bad, though.
It was so bad.
I mean,
like,
I don't think I've seen Dallas play that badly. I'm not a big fan of the Cowboys
Dak and
anyway.
CeeDee Lamb were arguing. It was just like, and there must have been saying, because the commentators were onto that really early.
Yeah. Dak's passing was terrible. Like, his ball placement was absolutely awful. He didn't give the receivers any chance whatsoever. Sue Pollard, he's had one good game, I think, this year. So the running game was terrible. They should never have got rid of Zeke because Pollard can't run through the tackles. They needed that second option.
They didn't need Zeke, but they just needed...
Well, they needed another option, something different.
Well, they're already paying for Zeke.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
And then, I mean, what was it? The tight end, the Packers tight end who scored was in acres of space.
Musgrave.
Yeah.
Musgrave.
Acres and acres of space.
17 yards of
separation.
Circumference of space.
Yeah.
You're like...
The NFL Instagram account put a post on to show how much space he was in. Surely that's just a sacking of Dan Quinn instantly.
Wow. The thing is,
we'll get onto defensive coordinators and stuff because sometimes like the schemes and stuff don't work. But
you shouldn't be finding that out in the playoffs.
But it's the fact that the safety and the quarterback just snapped on the wrong. They followed Reed, and no one followed Musgrave. That's not Dan Quinn's fault. That's the thing. Like, we'll get onto someone else, But it was fucking. Micah Parsons got one pressure.
He was useless as well.
Can I raise one point here?
You can raise as many points as you like, mate.
We were all so quick to write off the Packers because Aaron Rodgers wasn't there. They were the winningest. Matt LaFleur was the winningest head coach in the history of head coaches.
His first 2 or 3 seasons or whatever it was. He went 13-3 2 years in a row, didn't he?
So pretty much all they did was get rid of Aaron Rodgers and get rid of Alan Lizard. Right?
Yeah.
And Devontae Adams.
Oh, and
Devontae Adams, yeah.
Yeah, but Devontae Adams had been gone for a season already, hadn't he? So they got rid of him. They got rid of Randy Cobb, which, what are they going to do with those 11 yards they get a season? They've still got, Jair Alexander's one of the best corners in the game.
And he loves picking off Dak Prescott.
He does.
I hope you all enjoyed the interview afterwards.
I like the one beforehand where he just appeared in the back of someone's shotgun, just saying, "Pack is back."
They're a very, very good team, and they should be challenging for the playoffs. They should be challenging.
Fucking really good player.
Yeah,
beast.
All those wide receivers as well.
Yeah, Watson.
Yeah,
particularly
Watson,
Dobbs.
Reed, Dobbs.
Their rookie.
All those people
receivers.
Aaron Rodgers didn't like.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
it's a lovely bit of a fuck you to and Jordan Love. I mean, he has been very, very good in the last second half of the season.
5 games particularly.
Yeah, he's been let down by some poor defense at times. But some of the throws were gorgeous off his feet and just brilliant. But
yeah, he was brilliant.
Yeah,
no, that's not a word for it. Yeah,
and he was so much better than 2022 Aaron Rodgers, 2021 Aaron Rodgers. They are
2021 Aaron Rodgers MVP.
Yeah,
it was a bad year for kill quarterbacks.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I know he was MVP, but you remember him? We do remember him in the playoffs where he refused to throw more than 6 yards.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
He didn't want to throw an interception.
Yeah, he was he got too concerned with his own stats.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I it was brilliant to watch.
Yeah. You can't beat a Niners Packers game in the playoffs.
They do tend to be classics.
Well, you get the Niners Packers, don't you? And then obviously the most game of all time is the Niners Cowboys is the other one. Isn't it? So they are pretty famous games. So yeah,
everything's building to that Niners Ravens game,
which won't happen. We'll come on to that.
Come on to that. I'm with Gary. Anyway,
so we'll mention the fact that you had the 49ers now going to host the Packers, so Packers go away again.
I feel less confident about this because we're not playing Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
I know that sounds mad, but Aaron Rodgers had so much baggage, and we knew we could just run straight through him, and I think we probably can still run through him. Because I think that is where you've got some weakness there. I think you can still run at the Packers.
Yeah,
but I am less confident about playing this team than last year.
Let's face it, we had Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator, on the hot seat for a good number of weeks. And he's had a good game against a bad Dallas team. I'm not saying he won't have a good game against a good 49ers team, but one swallow does not make a summer.
No, well, that's it.
But you have to remember, like 2 weeks ago, Dak Prescott was favourite for MVP. Yeah.
Well, he's got some really great numbers, hasn't he?
He has.
Statistically, it's his best season.
I mean, he has got some great numbers. 2 and 5 in the playoffs.
He's got those 2 wins.
Isn't it the worst record of anyone, like joint of anyone who's played more than 5 games? And it's just what happens. Jerry Jones's Cowboys in the last 20 years are very good at making money and losing early in the playoffs. Yeah. Unless they play the Giants, or basically it was the ghost of Tom Brady last year when they beat and then went out. Like, unless it's them, they suck.
Yeah. So yeah.
So what do you think of McCarthy then?
I think he stays.
I think if he was going to go, I think he would have gone by now.
No, I still think they need to understand what they're doing with the coordinators, and I think they might. There's a possibility. I think they clear house.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, just all of it.
Yeah,
just
they
everything
know,
but GM.
I think they pretty much know Dan Quinn is going to probably go. Despite this result, he'll probably get a job somewhere. Madness. I hope he goes to Seattle. Brilliant. So yeah, it's clear the offensive coordinator isn't that good. They have to keep Dak Prescott because next season his cap hit is $60 million roughly. So they'll need to restructure that effectively.
It's his last year next year, isn't it? So you don't unless you don't want him anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll want him to go to the open market.
But forgive me for getting into contract governance here. But this is I blame Jerry Jones. Because surely a contract of that magnitude would have to be signed off by the owner.
Yeah, but they move around all the time, don't they? Because they might have needed the cap space this year, and then they load it all into the back of the deal and stuff. And then they just think, well, in the last year, we'll renegotiate in a new deal, put a load in signing bonuses, and half of it will go away.
Yeah,
that's just what they all do. Just fancy accounting.
Yeah,
it's what happened. Yeah, it's why they are not in cap hell, but they are 14 million over.
I think McCarthy's still there.
Zach Martin's cap is 40 years.
He's had 2 12-win seasons, which is good. But then,
what happens if you end up with another Jason Garrett after you sack him?
What happens if you end up with Bill Belichick?
Well, Jason Garrett.
What happens if Bill Belichick can't do it anymore? So what happens if you go from at least being in the playoffs? And
you can say that about anything.
I get that, but you're still at 12, aren't you? Still at 12-win seasons.
Oh, I see this.
That's not easy to move on from, is it? Let's be serious.
This Parcells went to the Cowboys, didn't he? And he's Belichick's mentor.
Yep.
I can quite happily see him going there. And even if he gets 12 wins again and goes out the playoffs in the first round, you get more people through the gates at the stadium.
Belichick with less control, without all his team around him. Apparently, the Patriots want his sons to come back. So he hasn't got his people around him. Is he going to be stronger and better than he was at the Patriots?
I think so, because I think
at 71 years old,
because he's coaching, just pure
coaching. But the issue with the Patriots for the last 3 years is he's not had a quarterback.
Well,
he's had Mac Jones.
He's also got no offense at all. It's not just a quarterback, is it? His whole offense, which he is accountable for, is awful.
Yeah,
so I don't know. But if he'd have stayed at the Patriots, fair enough. Take the GM off him. But if you put him into a new environment, someone will take a shot because he's Bill Belichick. But I'm not telling you he's going to be any good.
You're just upset you owe me £5.
Oh, yeah, I didn't bring that. Yeah,
but I think I think they might move off McCarthy because I think Jerry was embarrassed by that.
It was embarrassing,
and it was a season performance that would get you a job, but a playoff performance that gets you fired. It's bizarre sort of that,
yeah.
but it's the Cowboys.
If the Cowboys' job is going, is that the best job available?
Yeah,
out of everything.
And if you're Bill,
I still think there's potential that the merry-go-round could keep going further. So let's say the Ravens do win it all. What's Harbaugh got to stay for?
Win it all again.
Yeah, he's not old, is he?
Yeah, but he's won it. He's built 2 teams to win it. What's he got to stay for?
Well, what's he got to move on to?
Yeah, what's he going to do next? Build a dynasty.
A lot of people like the ride off into the sunset, don't they?
Yeah, no.
I still feel there's the possibility for the merry-go-rounds and the carousel, whatever you call it, to keep moving here.
Well, we'll come on to other jobs coming up. But I, if the job becomes available, I think if you get Bill, you don't get the issues he's had in New England, where he hasn't had a quarterback
or
wide receiver. Admittedly, because he's the GM and he hasn't picked them.
He did pick them, but they were unkill Harry.
Yeah, he picked them. That's his fault that they didn't have them. But he has. Dak is functional.
He's top 10.
He's top 10. Yeah. CD Lamb.
Around there or thereabouts.
CD Lamb, you could make an argument top 5.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Like top 3.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Dak's top 1 in
Definitely top 5,
horrible cadence.
Yeah.
They've got an offensive line, and look at what he's done with. He's made at times that Patriots defense like stingy as hell this season at times,
and he got someone like
and with nobodies.
And he'd have Micah Parsons.
He'd have Trayvon Diggs back next season. This is the job, if it becomes available, that you'd want.
I agree.
Maybe unless something else comes available.
The only thing is if he's willing to kind of release that kind of GM role. And I think, personally, I think he should.
Yeah.
Shit at it.
Yes.
And maybe he's like, do you know what? 71, this is my last gig. I'm just going to coach.
Yeah. He's got a
Jerry
new girlfriend.
Jerry Jones says, we want you to be involved in the process, but you're not going to have final say. I think that'd be enough.
But what if he brings in his old people again? What if like a Scott Pioli comes in, someone like that?
Matt Patricia.
Scott Pioli comes in, brilliant. But it's not going to happen because Jerry Jones isn't going to relinquish that GM role until he dies. Which, that might be quite soon, given his age.
Well,
and the emotional state he's been put through in the last.
If we
on to the next game.
If we had a heart monitor, we'd know.
Yeah,
but
Peacock.
Yeah.
Should be an NFL rule change. Heart monitors and all owners.
I'm up for that.
I'm good with that.
They'd have my £5. So, the Eagles.
Sorry.
I don't
Just
know.
there's no one to apologise to. Certainly not Eagles fans.
No.
Bye, Eagles, bye.
Nice.
They were trounced.
Yeah.
It was
I mean, it's another embarrassing result.
Yeah.
Like the Dallas result would be embarrassing for Jerry Jones, and that Eagles performance would be embarrassing for Jeffrey Lurie.
Yeah.
Jalen
Apparently he was
Hurts
furious.
Jalen Hurts looked like he gave up.
A whole team, gave up.
A whole team.
Devonta Smith was the only one that looked like he was putting in any effort. Everyone else. I mean, the tackling was atrocious.
It was James Bradbury left the Giants, and I was genuinely gutted.
He was great last year.
Brilliant. Then he joined the Eagles, like our rival, and was brilliant. And you're like, fuck. And then this year, you're like, oh no, he's. And this is the thing. Like, this is what annoys. This is what I don't like. There's been so much noise about Matt Patricia coming in halfway through the season. Is Matt Patricia teaching James Bradbury how to tackle like that? Because, yeah, Matt Patricia comes with a stigma nowadays. Because everywhere he goes, it turns to shit. But the tackling in the last
What tackling?
2 months, the Eagles have just forgotten how to defend.
They've forgotten how to play, full stop. Like, since that 49ers game, they're including that 49ers game, they're 1-6.
1-6, yeah.
Last 7 games, and 1-7 if you include the playoffs now, that playoff game now.
And that one was against a Giants team where actually it was a bit closer than it should have been. And then when we turned around and beat them, we had Tommy D.
The
Fucking hell.
The change from, I mean, they were a dodgy pass interference call away from beating the Chiefs.
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl. Like, it was a soft call. They probably shouldn't have happened, but it did anyway. So they could have been Super Bowl champions. Absolute fell off a cliff.
We were sat there on draft night going, Roseman, you fucking genius.
Yeah.
It's all just fallen to the Eagles. and
Had a great draft.
had a great draft.
Had lots of veteran players coming back. Still got a number of young
brought
players.
in DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
Replaced
Yeah,
Miles Sanders.
Yeah,
like
that was an upgrade.
Well, we thought so. Miles Sanders probably had a better season than DeAndre Swift this year.
Right.
both been just
But
bad.
The biggest
Both been bad.
The biggest
It's bad.
difference is Sirianni lost both his coordinators.
Yeah.
And the good coaches lose coordinators, but it just carries on. Like Shanahan's a perfect example, isn't it? He's lost so many now.
Yeah, he just knows he's going to lose them.
Yeah.
But
What was the name of the chap who went to Arizona?
Gannon.
Gannon. I refuse to believe he did anything positive based on what I've seen of him.
well,
He's been
I mean,
fine.
He's a dick, but
Pow,
actually,
pow, pow.
actually, the Cardinals team, despite their results, had probably played better than the Eagles.
Yeah, it's just. Do you think it's time he goes, Sirianni?
Yeah,
It's once again like you look at the record. His record's brilliant.
Yeah.
3 years, 3 playoff, a Super Bowl loss. Yeah, to me, it looks like he's lost the dressing room.
absolutely.
I am going to be the voice
Reason?
of reason in this room, right? So, Mike Tomlin, how many years has he been at the Steelers?
17.
Have they been successful overall?
Yeah.
Right. Then we'll go to the Seahawks. Yeah. So, Pete Carroll's gone. How many years was he there?
14.
Were they successful in that time?
Yeah.
Right. Belichick,
24.
were they successful in that time?
Just
I
a
mean,
little
it's
bit.
debatable.
Andy Reid,
He's been at the Chiefs for 12 years now.
right. Have they been successful?
They've had a few kind of moments.
Yeah, but 6 Super
No,
Bowl
wait.
wins, 2 Super Bowl
no.
wins, Super Bowl win, Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
Sirianni, Super Bowl loss.
And I get that, but they've won 1 in 14 years, but you would still say that they have had successful tenures, yeah?
But I don't think...
Only one team can win the Super
Yeah,
Bowl. Like,
I appreciate
like,
that. I don't think any of those teams fell off a cliff.
they will have done at some
No,
point
not,
in that time.
Not to that extent.
But I think that there's a
You
very
don't think? I
No.
do. I'm sorry, I do.
But
I think
there's a dramatic difference with these teams, though, because Sirianni came into an Eagles team that had won the Super Bowl 2 years earlier. You couldn't say that for Belichick when he
but
came into the
lots
Patriots.
changes in 2 years in the NFL. Fucking loads.
Oh, but I think there's a big difference
Rosters
between.
changed completely in 2 years. I don't know. I just think, I think hype and reactions get really heightened, and I think, I always say it. Who else? Who else then?
Well-
Who else? Like, tell me who's better.
Like Vrabel.
So, but you maybe Vrabel's out there, but what for all of these 8 or 10 jobs you guys have just come up with?
No, we put Belichick in the Cowboys, and now I'm putting Vrabel in the Eagles.
Okay, who's doing the other jobs?
I don't care about the other jobs.
No, but I know that, but that's the reality,
Well,
isn't it?
that's their decision.
But Ben Johnson will go to
but
one
they've
of them.
got to
Yeah.
consider that in their decision, haven't they?
Jim
They
Harbaugh
put a
goes
lot
to
of
them.
money into these
Yeah.
things, so you can't just make these decisions based on real quick information. So what if the Packers had lost this year? Like, did he need to go? Did Matt LaFleur need to go?
No. But, again,
No, but it's all your context, isn't it? To it, it's your perception of it.
Yeah. And I watched that game, and my perception was that guy's out
That's
there.
your perception, isn't it?
It is.
And
And my perception was watching Jeff Lorry doing his absolute fucking nutting in the director's box. You're thinking, this guy is going to fire someone tonight.
yeah, but
It hasn't yet.
It might be someone that needs to go, but then. The head coach is always accountable, but actually, is that always the best answer? That's all I'm saying. I am just being the voice of reason because it is very easy, even without Griff here apparently, to sit here with a gun just firing off at people. That's all I'm saying.
But let me phrase this in another way to you then. I don't disagree with what you're saying. It's always worth having an objectionable view on it. You were a dodgy call away from winning the Super Bowl last year, right? You limp into the playoffs and you've lost 7 of your last 6.
6 you last 7.
6 of your last 7.
I mean, you've lost to the Giants, so you've lost twice there.
But what are the underlying issues? Jalen Hurts has been injured for ages.
But-
I'm just saying, there's got to be.
yeah, but
No,
so many quarterbacks play hurt and play better.
And I get that, but we don't know all the information, do we? That's what I'm saying.
You're right. It is a perception. Perception is that Eagles team, didn't look like they wanted to play on Monday night. They
No.
just didn't look like they
And
wanted
you've
to be
got to
there.
go away and understand that, haven't you?
Yeah, but
And it might
surely
lead to a firing. I'm not saying
No,
it won't,
surely
I'm
that
just
is
saying.
on the coach who's got such a talented roster.
It's also on the quarterback you pay $50 million a year to.
But it's on the coach to motivate them and coach them up.
Other people are accountable as well. That's all I'm saying.
Of course they are,
So actually, you've got to decide where you are going to be able to move forward from. And actually, what is the best decision to make? And not every single time it will be the head coach.
The whole team they looked devoid of motivation, but they looked devoid of ideas. Like the amount of times Tampa blitzed them, was it 58% of the defense players they blitzed? But it was the same blitz every single time. There was no change.
Yeah,
literally no change. And
there's so many things. There's so many things at the Eagles.
No,
AJ Brown's
that's coach accountable. Like you didn't change. You didn't look at the game and see what's going on in the playoffs.
But is that going to be coach? Is it going to be coordinator? Which one's it going to be?
That's coach and coordinator.
They
should be working together on that.
I know.
The coach should be turning around to the coordinator and go, "Oi, mate, what the fuck's going on? Change it, would you?"
And one of the things, like you mentioned, Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, when his players were playing for him, there was never any issue. There was, you thought AJ Brown, Antonio Brown, he had an ego. Le'Veon Bell didn't turn up, but that's what. And then they moved, and then you suddenly see like, oh no, they're absolute dicks. And I'm sorry, like AJ Brown right now, like he's doing the whole trope of he's removed all Eagles stuff from his thing. Like that to me is just a dressing room that has lost control.
Debo did that at the 49ers when he was trying to get a new contract. It's
but
for show.
AJ isn't going for a new contract. He just wants out.
I know, but Devontae Adams wanted out of the Raiders halfway through. Like my point is, it's just like you cannot.
And they changed the coach.
You just can't fire every coach, can you?
You can't.
Fire every coach.
No, you can't fire
You guys want to fire everybody. You can't fire everybody.
Fire everyone.
You can't fire everybody.
You fucking said enough of the league.
But for a team on paper, with the assets they have, with the performances they've had in the past, you talk about the accountability.
Are those assets as good as you think they are? How many of those defensive players are too old now? Like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying you guys are wrong or right. I'm just flipping it and just saying, wait and see. Right, John, host.
Well, okay.
Now I've made you all angry.
Yeah, you haven't made us angry.
So
good
Gary
debate.
mentioned there, rosters change. One of the rosters that's only changed slightly since they won a Super Bowl is the Bucks. Basically, we were too quick, a lot of us, to say this year the Bucks are going to be shit because Brady's gone, Baker's in. They still don't, they don't have a running game. That's the Bucks. The defense still features like Winfield, Levante David, all these players that won a Super Bowl. They are still a really good roster.
I think they've got about 17 players
who
are on that Super Bowl winning team still.
Yeah.
And they've also got a guaranteed Hall of Fame wideout.
Two, maybe.
Like Godwin, brilliant. He's so good. Mike Evans, is great. Like but they lost Brady and
Also
Gronk. But
I don't think we lingered enough on the point of Mayfield, the former number one overall pick who got the Browns into the playoffs.
Played very well in that playoff run as well.
This suits him down to the ground because
he wants to be an underdog.
He's the underdog. He's it brings out like his spikiness. Like I like Baker the underdog.
You compare those two teams.
But as well, he didn't have to play that well this week.
The Browns, how many playoff wins have the Browns had? One.
Ever.
With since the reboot or whatever.
Oh, one, yeah.
One, yeah. And Baker now has two.
Yeah.
Because the one he had was with the Browns.
Yeah.
So Baker now has more playoff wins than
the reformed Browns.
The reformed Browns.
Yeah. No.
That's what I'm going to be doing in the break.
Which I thought was quite good.
Well,
Sorry.
Well,
oh no, they've been fine all year. They're just in a poor division, aren't they? In a better division, they wouldn't have made the playoffs.
No.
So that's the thing. Like they've got the potential to deliver on a day, and Baker loves the big stage. Doesn't
That's
he?
it. Yeah,
So,
and
but I'd sack the coach just because it's fun. I'm a twat.
You are a twat. Does Arian still work for the Bucks?
Yes.
Does he?
Yeah, he's upstairs. Yeah.
Because he was on the Manning cast when the game was on. So
Fucking hell, what are you trying to say, James?
Why she's not making any noise?
No wonder her back's in trouble.
yeah, no, he was on the Manning cast. So I was like,
She likes bald
during
men
the
with
game,
facial
like,
hair, what
does
can
he
I
still
say?
work there? I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I'm sure he moved upstairs. Didn't
I think he moved upstairs, but I didn't know if he was still there.
I think so.
What What a job.
Consultancy sort of role, yeah.
But yeah, they're
Yeah, he's still a senior football consultant.
There you go.
What do you think, Bruce? Do this.
No.
that's fun. Well, let's move on to the Texans and the Browns, which actually at half-time was close. The performances were starting to, the Texans looked better, but it was close. And then in the second half, basically the Texans couldn't stop picking off Joe Flacco.
It's a bridge too far.
We returned to that other Joe Flacco we always used to know
Yeah.
and love.
Yeah.
That was the Joe Flacco that saw him leave the Ravens
Yeah. I mean,
when he had all those back issues.
It's been a
and
great
couldn't throw the ball anymore.
yeah, it's been a great story. They shouldn't be there, by force of, I don't know what they've got through.
And the sheer will of the people of Cleveland.
They have now. They fired their offensive coordinator today.
Did they?
Yeah, Van Pelt. But
It's
can't.
good to
That's
fire
what
people
happens.
now.
Yeah, they're just people are firing everyone, aren't they?
Yeah. Everyone gets fired.
But yeah, Stroud obviously comes out of this. He was so good, but he didn't need to be that good because the defense did so much of the work for him.
This is like the best defense in the league. They got humiliated.
Are they the best defense in
No.
the league, or have they just?
I think statistically they were,
Yeah,
but no,
statistically
I
that's
agree.
right.
I agree with your point.
So I think I was listening to someone else talking about this, about kind of how some defenses, if you think about that league, that division this year, obviously having the Bengals completely, not being the Bengals and stuff.
And they played him.
Stats can be like a bit,
Yeah. No,
like schedule
that is
comes
fair.
into it, all that kind of stuff. So they are a very, very good defense with some brilliant players, but are they definitely the number one? They are number one ranked, obviously.
Yeah, but
but
they
would you
didn't do
choose
anything.
them? Would you
They-
choose them?
No, I agree. I'll take the 49ers over them.
Yeah.
Actually, before the game at the weekend, I'd probably take Dallas defense over
Yeah.
them.
Well,
Ravens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that.
I like the Bucks defense.
Obviously, it's been defense wins championships, but again, this week has proved that might not be the case in this new NFL. Like
Yeah, no, it's a really good point.
because those defensive stops have not been made, have they? The Texans' defense was great because they kept picking him off. But
Yeah.
Are you going to
they
pick
might be
off?
slightly underrated.
Are you going to pick off Mahomes that often?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think.
this season,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, thrown about 12.
To be fair, that's not on him. That's on
Yeah.
his receivers
Are you-
juggling with the ball.
Are you going to pick off playoff Mahomes?
Maybe not.
Well,
Maybe not.
yeah,
This was interesting, I think, though, the Browns-Texans game as well, because obviously they played each other recently, and the Browns gave the Texans a bit of a kick-in, but that
Yeah.
was minus CJ Stroud, wasn't it?
yeah.
But again, for D'Amico Ryans, like, what an adjustment and everything they've made from literally like 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, to turning that around.
I mean, coach of the year.
Yeah, for me, he is
Unanimous
he is
coach of the year, surely.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So let's get rid of him.
There's a lot of people saying it's going to be Stefanski, though.
I don't see how.
I think Stefanski has done a good job. Like, you think about it, he's
The
lost.
change he's had
Have
to
you
go
not heard
through.
that? I've heard loads of
Yeah.
people saying
No,
it's gonna be
I think he's
suppose
definitely in the running. He's lost his
Quarterback,
number one-
running back, left tackle,
Yeah.
right tackle.
and they were 11-6.
And backup, I think right tackle as well.
How many
I mean,
quarterbacks did he go through? 4 this year.
Yeah.
And
But it's the
11-6.
but it's the Browns. You have to play multiple quarterbacks. That's the rules.
Fair.
Yeah, but they're paying one of them so handsomely.
Yeah, you can massage
It's-
the figures.
It's horrible. That is going to prove to be one of the worst trades of.
Oh, well,
Ever.
the Texans are in actually a really good place after
Yeah.
all this eventually, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, it is mad. Absolutely mad.
Because they don't have. Do they not have a first round pick this year?
They've got one,
Got one.
And
I think.
Jeremy Tunsil absolutely owned Myles Garrett
Yeah.
he got injured.
Yep. Tom,
They paid a lot of money for him,
they paid a lot of money, for,
but
but
he has
actually,
been a fucking player.
They've got Cleveland's pick. They don't have their own pick.
So no, that's right. They've got Cleveland's pick.
Because they traded
And
for Will
by-
Anderson,
That's
didn't
right.
they?
Yeah.
And by beating them, that pick got better by 5 places.
Yes.
Yep.
That's right. So I think it's they get the 23rd overall pick.
Yeah.
yeah. I knew they traded the pick for Will Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot. I didn't.
That was
I
with
forgot they had.
Arizona.
So they made their own pick better.
Yeah.
Which is great, by the way. Will
Brilliant.
Anderson's been a stud this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, as well. like, just Stroud. I mean, he's gonna win
Rookie of the year. Defensive Rookie of the year.
I don't know, Laporta?
No,
Nakua.
Stroud.
I agree.
Nakua.
Could be Nakua.
I agree with both those shouts, but it'll always be a quarterback.
But it will be a quarterback. It will be CJ Stroud, and he's been brilliant.
Unless you get
He looks after the ball so well, you know.
And
Better than
swagger.
Justin Herbert.
He just has swagger, doesn't he?
yeah, but as well, like Nico Collins, like what a receiver he's turned out to be. Like second year, isn't he?
Well, especially after Tank Dell was out as well.
Well, he's,
Imagine what they would be right now.
Yeah.
With Tank Dell in, you would be worried about playing them.
oh god, yeah, no,
They do need to get their running game going though, just to take the pressure off at times.
yeah. Singletary
has not
is
Was it
Pierce has basically disappeared.
Nothing this year.
No.
Yeah.
3 carries for no yards.
But Singletary, isn't it?
He's been
Who's-
okay.
He's been
Singletary.
fine. Yeah.
Hasn't he scored had the third most rushing yards or something
Has he?
like that
I mean,
in the
he had an
last
all right-
like 6 games or
he
something?
had an all right game. 13 carries for 66 yards, which is 5 yards a carry, and he got a touchdown.
They got him going at times at the Bills, didn't they, like that? But he never does it for more than 2 or 3, 4 games.
But you can't judge any Bills running back for anything, can you?
James Cook's pretty decent at the moment. The Browns didn't get a running game at all. I averaged 2.8 yards a carry of 20 carries.
Yeah.
And I know they were chasing the game.
No, it was,
For
it
the
was,
first
a, it was a
half, but-
ding-dong game at the start,
Yeah,
wasn't it? It was
but,
like
you know,
score, answer by score, then interception.
Flacco throw it 46 times and 2 interceptions and a touchdown.
Yeah, but for an old man with a broken back, he shouldn't be throwing the ball 46 times.
Comeback player of the year.
A man died last year on
Yeah.
the field.
He actually played much, though.
Joe Flacco played for the Jets last year. That's worse, surely.
I think DeMar Hamlin, just because, he almost died.
Do you know what I said? Joe Flacco played for the Jets.
Yeah, no, I know.
He couldn't
I know.
get on the Jets team, actually. Like,
I'm just looking. How much did DeMar Hamlin play? He's played this year. I mean, the fact that
how much has he played?
he's made 2 solo tackles.
That's right, too.
It's
I don't think he's played much.
not
mate.
played
I don't
much,
think he's
but
played much.
he's still
Understandably.
To be fair, like he would
I don't know,
be.
Christian Eriksen was back pretty quickly.
He would be like I think he'd be the 3rd or 4th choice safety anyway. Like you could argue if he hadn't have had his heart issues, he probably would have been released.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We'll give it to him, though.
Well,
We'll
yeah,
give it
yeah.
to him.
Anyway, should we go on to the Chiefs?
Playoff Chiefs turned up.
Well, the playoff Chiefs
Defence turned up.
defense.
This is Steve Spagnuolo is one of the best defensive coaches
Yeah.
of the last 20, 30 years, I feel. I saw some analysis where it showed the safety switching positions as they snapped that led to one of their interceptions. It's just good coaching.
I really thought the Dolphins would win this just based on run game. So I didn't think they would go there and Tua would just be, flying the ball around in, feels like minus 20 or whatever
Yeah.
it was. With Andy Reid going full walrus on us, with actual frozen whiskers. So I wasn't expecting that, but I did expect Mostert and A-Chain to really be giving the ball a lot and just grind them down a bit, if I'm honest.
The
And
problem is, I said this before the game, the Dolphins didn't have any pass rush. Like, you look at the amount of time that Mahomes had when he was passing it. It's like-
their record in cold months now is terrible, though.
Yeah,
Under Mike McCarthy,
yeah.
their record is crazy.
That's a team that really could have done with Bradley Chubb.
yeah. Or
McDaniel.
Jalen Phillips.
I think the weather's a thing now.
It was a thing. I mean, and the fact that they kept on coming out before the match going, no, we're not bothered by the cold. For me, that's like, well, you're obviously discussing the cold.
Yeah.
Like, Chiefs didn't say that.
No.
Bills didn't say that the other week. I know they both play in the cold, but even the Steelers were like, didn't say anything like that. Miami are like, oh yeah, no, not bothered by the cold. Like,
For somebody who plays in Pittsburgh talking about the cold.
I'm just saying, yeah, but again, they're the ones that kept banging on about the fucking cold. It's like, well, it's obviously on your mind, and it absolutely was. They didn't look comfortable in it. But the running game was bang average.
Yeah.
Really
The
poor.
Chiefs' defence was just really
The
good.
Chiefs' defense was great.
And Rashee Rice stepped up when he needed to as well.
Yeah.
He's become definitely I'd be looking at him as my number 1 receiver there. I think the more they can involve him, the more they'll have a chance. But unfortunately, they've got to go away now, haven't they? The Chiefs, and that's going to be the real test now from this. They'll go on the road next.
It is. But who they got?
Bills. Yeah.
That is. We'll get onto the Bills. Yeah, we'll come on to the game. But yeah, for the Dolphins,
If you're a brave man to bet against the Chiefs.
I will bet against the Chiefs. I'll do double or quits with Jim. But I think Jim's already in the same camp as me. He doesn't want that bet.
Well,
You must owe me a fiver from some point.
yeah,
I probably owe all of you a fiver.
Yeah, I'm
at some
sure.
point. Why don't we go a fiver on? I'll go Chiefs. You go Bills.
accord.
I'm not made of fivers.
No, well, we know that. We've never seen it.
No, I have a photo on my phone of paying one of you.
Arizona bet once.
I'm sure there's been all sorts of bets.
Arizona.
I'm sure we had a bet on Arizona for something. Maybe
Arizona not finishing bottom of your division.
All right. Did they finish bottom?
It wasn't this season.
He's very quick.
They have Kyler Murray for the first 6 games. We're going to take that bet.
So Tua.
Yep.
Is Tua just a competent quarterback who can't mix it with the elite teams?
Yes.
Yes,
I don't think that's fair.
I do.
Like it's
His
it,
interceptions, he makes bad interceptions at bad times.
like he
does.
he's got the passing yards
So you're saying he's
record for this
Jameis
year.
with better PR?
Tyreek Hill is your number 1 receiver.
Yeah,
Probably should have the passing.
Yeah. Like they should have the
quite a lot of them are yards
after
after catch. Yeah.
like him and Hill and Waddle
yeah.
both give them. And I mean,
Even the running backs.
And Mostert, yeah.
yeah, they give him a lot, but when it matters, I mean, he's just a Southern
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers. He's not clutch.
The Dolphins don't beat good teams.
No,
Yeah,
That's the
aren't
problem.
they
with
1-6 against playoff teams
Yeah.
this season?
yeah.
I can't
When they
remember who
come
one
out-
was.
when they
But
come up
they've been
against-
playing the Pats and the Jets
They beat
most
the
of the season,
Cowboys.
haven't
They beat the Cowboys, yeah.
But, I think we've seen that actually the Cowboys are very beatable.
Well, the Miami and the Cowboys mainly beat bad teams this season.
Yeah.
For their
Yes.
records,
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
happened. So
they? They're both very lucky.
sack them all. Fucking sack. Oh, McDaniel's gone.
McDaniel. No, McDaniel hasn't gone.
What? Because you like his sunglasses. What? Would you sack him?
No.
Why?
Because he's developing something.
But his record in December has been terrible, and his playoff performances have also been awful. So why aren't we sacking Mike McDaniels? Because you like him.
Yeah.
No, but this is my point, isn't
No,
it?
but you can see that the players do play for
But it's
him.
achieved the same results, isn't it?
I would say that the performance this weekend was less embarrassing than that of
Only
the
slightly.
Eagles and the Cowboys.
Really? Only slightly.
Only slightly.
I'd say that's more. The Dallas and the Eagles results were much more embarrassing than going
I'm
to the
only
Chiefs.
saying, like, these are the small margins that you're working
They
with.
are small
Yeah,
margins.
so you're
though.
very certain you're going to sack Mike.
The whole
Mike
game is-
McCarthy.
The whole game is small margins.
But I'm just teasing you.
I know, but that's just it. The whole game is 6 inches there, six
But-
inches there.
but because he's got the
Here.
look and he's got the swagger and he's got the PR, you guys don't want to sack him.
I don't think it's PR or swagger. I think
Who's
his
got better
team-
players?
Sorry,
Who's got better players? Miami?
I think it's pretty even.
Would you take Miami or the Cowboys?
If I was offered,
Cowboys.
if I was offered the ability to have either job, I'd be the Dolphins head coach.
Be the Dolphins head coach. I'd probably be the Dolphins head coach as well.
I'd probably go Cowboys.
I go Cowboys.
I think Dak better than Tua.
I'm getting
they're
worried
very
by how
much
much
the
I'm
same.
agreeing with
I think
you
they're
this
very much
season.
the same. All I'm saying is, like, I'm just putting it out there just to restart that argument back up. But we'll move on now. But I'm just saying, if you've got coaches that keep just failing in the first round of the playoffs after beating up on bad teams all season, and you've spent a lot of money and you've got loads of hype, how's that any different?
I don't get. It's a strange. It's to me. This is like the Herbert argument. It's an argument out of nothing. It's.
No,
There's time on Justin.
I'll be.
Herbert.
I
We already
haven't,
had that before the
No.
podcast.
I know.
I haven't been here for a few. There is validity in the Herbert argument, but we'll save that for the off season.
Yes.
I didn't even mention it when we talked about.
There's a Justin Herbert roundtable episode coming down the line.
There is.
It is, yeah.
There is.
There's something brewing.
Like I say, I don't want to get back into that, but I'm just saying you can't have that double standards. That's all I'm
I don't
saying.
think it is double standards. I agree with you on the results are very similar between Miami and Dallas. Completely agree with you there. You're absolutely right. I think it's the manner of how they've played. Like going to the Chiefs and losing 26-7 isn't as bad as being at home against the 7th seed Packers and conceding 40-odd points and playing like... Yeah, the scoreline flattered Dallas, let's face it. They shouldn't have had as many. They only had that many points because the Packers took their foot off the gas because they knew they could and rested a load of their starters. The Cowboys were an embarrassment on Sunday night. They were just they didn't look ready to play. They didn't look like they want to be there. Dak was shit. CeeDee Lamb was shit. The defense was terrible.
Sue Pollard turned up instead of...
Yeah, literally.
Like I say, I'm just...
No, I
playing devil's
get
advocate.
I get what you're playing. I get what you're saying.
I'm not as convinced by him, because like, what's he learning? So if he's poor every year in December, which he is, what's he doing about that? And so you can't mix your expectations. That's what I'm saying. So the same scrutiny should be on McDaniels as it is on McCarthy.
I'm sure it is.
Well,
I'm sure he still goes into and meets with Stephen Ross, and Stephen Ross is like, what the fuck happened there?
So all I'm trying to say then is, so we shouldn't jump to, from our perception of limited information. Yeah, we don't know everything, do we? We don't see everything. We're not in those meetings. We shouldn't always jump to sack them and don't sack them.
No, but
I know we're here to give opinions,
but
but
I know we're not in the meetings. But I have just watched Jerry Jones blow his nut at the side of the pitch, and I've watched.
If you're watching him blow his nut, you are watching something different to me.
And we've watched the Eagles owner going absolutely insane. Like this.
I think we could watch Griff going insane when he listens to this podcast.
I mean, I know you can't fire everyone, but I think if you've watched the performances this week and you've gone, do you know what? I think Sirianni he's doing all right. I think I'd have to see what you expect, because I can't look at that and go, that is a guy safe at his job. Whereas McDaniel, he feels the players are playing for him. I mean, they have injuries, but so does everyone else.
Actually, Miami got more injuries.
I maybe have a lot of injuries, but I mean,
so does everyone.
So do the Bills, and the Bills look like they're an absolute, freight train right now. So it is what it is. But I think if you were to say, I think Sirianni and McCarthy have had a bad weekend.
Yeah,
but for me, it's momentum. It's perception, and perception's reality.
And we're not dealing with normal people here. We're dealing with NFL owners who don't like being embarrassed in front of 40 million people.
But the Chiefs might win the Super Bowl again.
Yeah,
they might.
I hope they do.
There is talk that if they do,
Andy Reid might retire.
Yeah. So then you've got another vacancy.
Yep.
I'm not trying to talk about that. I'm just saying.
It's a fair point.
I think we should go back onto the Chiefs because they were playoff Chiefs. Which is what we would love to see.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and they threw a lot for a cold day as well, which I don't think the Dolphins would have expected.
No.
But it wasn't. To me, it wasn't playoff Chiefs.
They're battle hardened.
They are battle hardened.
They know how to win.
They're going to
talk about this a lot. Is that
12, 13 phases.
Same as the Patriots were, isn't it?
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's the form of champions. Yeah. You just win. You don't play well. You win.
Yeah, but I didn't. They played badly. I thought it just wasn't like.
It was never going to be an amazing game in that weather.
No.
And they managed it.
They don't do the big ass plays anymore.
No.
But you don't have Tyreek Hill. So
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, no. For the Dolphins, they do need to work on the end of season, because it is a little bit Cliff Clinkernuts at the moment, who would start off the season well and anyway,
he got fired.
The Lions beat the Rams. Tight game, tightest game of the weekend. Yeah. Took it really right down to the end. It was a fourth down pass to St. Brown that basically meant that the Lions could go into victory formation. Some of the one of the Goff passes to the St. Brown touchdown was
Goff
Both quarterbacks played really well.
Yeah, they're both brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. Goff has had an amazing turnaround from where he was in the Rams, and I think at that point we were all saying the Rams have to move on from Goff, and they did. And it was like, right, go to Detroit. You know, he'll have a season, and then they've got all these picks, and they can pick a quarterback. But he's turned that around, and he's allowed it to.
I was always okay with Goff. I was never one of the Goff haters. I didn't see him getting replaced after a season at the Lions.
I never got that. I never thought that.
Goff fine, Herbert bad.
I didn't say Herbert bad.
I don't think Herbert.
I just said Stroud over Herbert.
Anyway,
wankers. You want to argue, side. Someone find me the whiskey.
You started the argument.
I need some whiskey.
The one point I will say is
Get
that
angry now, John.
I know.
Herbert's not as good as you guys think he is.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway.
This is descended into chaos. So
yeah.
So yes,
we have one every like 3 or 4 weeks. We just go nuts.
You raised an important point just around the perception again, because Goff is a fine quarterback, but where he was with the Rams and what he was doing with that team, it was time to move on.
Yeah,
like Sirianni.
He couldn't. Do you know what? It comes down to what coaches want to do with their offense, and like it's similar to Sean Payton. He can't run his offense through Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So you guys, I heard Griff saying last week, Russell Wilson's had a really good season. That is in a simplified version of what Sean Payton wants to do with his offense. So yes, he has done fine doing half the things that Sean Payton wants him to do.
Well, it's not the thing Sean Payton wants him to do, is it? He's doing his own thing. So
they've just, because he isn't learning the playbook or can't do what he wants him to do, he's basically just cut down half the plays. So he is doing what he wants to do because they're only letting him do half the playbook Sean Payton wants to run in his offense. So, and that's the same with Sean McVay. Goff is absolutely fine if you put plenty of star wide receivers around him, a really solid run game. Yeah,
he needs the play action, doesn't he?
And a really, and a good defense. Yeah, and then if you've got the right coaching, he can be successful. Sean McVay didn't think that was enough for him, and he got proved right because he won a Super Bowl. But it didn't mean that Goff was bad. He just wasn't what McVay wanted.
Yeah.
I think that was all it was. And then the same person that got Goff to the Rams was then at the Lions and went, well, I still think he's the same player. And he took him to the Lions. I think he was well happy with it, if I'm honest. I never saw that one season of Goff and move on. I just didn't see it.
I didn't see that. I didn't think it made sense. But
so
no,
I'm pleased.
But
the theory was there.
It was the theory.
The theory there was just a salary dump. But salary dump as part of the trade. But it's worked out, and I think it's worked out generally for both sides as well. The Lions have been able to rebuild with the picks they got, and the Rams have been largely successful. So, I think it was a really interesting matchup, and to see how close the two teams are, still, fair play to 32 years or whatever since they'd won a playoff game or something.
It was that stat that nobody had ever sent a text message that the Lions had won a playoff game.
My favourite one was when they put the flag up. It's the first time they've ever won that division.
Yeah.
They used to be in a different division, didn't they?
Yeah.
The first time they've ever won it.
They've been terrible.
I mean, to be fair,
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
but they've also been in a division with the Packers, who had Favre and Rodgers for 30 years.
Even the Bears and Vikings in that time have taken turns being okay, or at least better than the Lions.
Yeah.
So, it's great. It's great for the city. Like, I think they're one of those franchises, almost like the Browns, although the Browns seem to fall over themselves to make people hate them. And it's that whole, you kind of want the underdog to do well.
I mean, they're a city that at some point one of their franchises sucks. Because the Pistons lost 28 basketball games in a row. So that's a place that needed a win.
Yeah.
Completely agree with you.
Yeah, they last won the NFC Central. So for the Rams, really promising season. Like they can keep adding players to it.
Is Donald going to retire?
I don't think he will.
He's not the same player, is he?
He's not.
He's still a great player, but he's not anywhere near.
I think, to your point, John, this is Stafford and Donald aside. It's a really young team. They've got some really good players.
Nakua definitely the number one wide receiver now.
Do you need Cup anymore?
I don't think so. No.
Not if he costs a lot of money.
And he must.
Yeah, he will do.
Yeah, he will. But
someone else might take a punt on him.
Well, him and Jared Goff are best mates, aren't they?
he's had a quiet time since.
He had a bad injury last year.
Yeah, I don't think you need to get rid of him. Or trying to,
Well, just almost, do you need him?
Yeah,
I think. The fact that Nakua is still going to be on a rookie contract,
you can keep him, can't you?
you can keep him.
Yeah.
And okay,
Fair enough.
you're paying.
he's got
Paying
a
him
massive
wide
cap hit next
Yeah,
year.
you're paying wide receiver 1, but Nakua will still be on a contract then, and he's going to be even the year after that. He's still going to be on a rookie contract.
Yeah, about 18 million or something.
Cup, 29.7 million.
Yeah, no one else is paying that.
It's still less than Stafford's.
But then
Gosh, you
if
think so?
but, you know,
Who's 50.
Nakua is a round 5 pick. That's going to be a low contract.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you combine them two and say you've got 2 wide receiver 1s for, I don't know, let's say, I don't know Nakua's contract, but let's say it's 25 million in total. All right, you'd take that, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Just a bit.
Yeah, Nakua next year is on less than $1 million.
Yeah.
So and they have cap space for the first time in ages.
They
They
have draft picks for the first
have
time
draft
in ages.
picks.
And the Lions get to play a second playoff game at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see Todd Bowles asking, how it's going to be playing in the cold? And he's like, you very politely replied, you do realize they play indoors. Yeah. But yeah, so
Would your money be against the Lions? Or at home?
I couldn't guess. I can't predict that game.
No.
no, it's really
I think
tough on that one.
That's the hardest one to predict.
So
Lions Bucks.
Yeah.
I think the Lions.
win that. I think
the Lions win.
Well, we'll come on to it, I'm sure, but
But we'll come. Yeah, we will
I
do the
would say
predictions.
Lions.
The Bills. So the Bills game got delayed because of the fact that it was 5 foot under snow.
Well, it's because the roads were going to have to be shut because it was going to be snowing during game time. They played when the stadium was 5 foot under snow. If you saw people trying to take their, in brackets, seats.
Well, there were no seats, were there? You
had
just
to clear your own seats. And people were basically getting snow and chucking it on the row next to them.
Yeah.
Seats. It's mad. You see all the pictures of it, Paul?
I loved it.
So
I just thought the Bills fans going nuts in there as well. It's
Snowballs.
yeah, it was. It's typical Bills fans, isn't it? They were like 21-0 up, and then they let the Steelers come back into it. But it always felt like they were
Yeah.
like
It was just...
They had it under control the whole time.
yeah.
Like, we've been hinting at this, haven't we, for the most of the show, but they do seem to be on a roll. Since we all started questioning it, they were 6-6 at one point, and I think they were less than 10% chance to make it into the playoffs. So they've been playing for their lives, and they've been playing really well.
Yeah.
Well, I think, we started talking about pre-pod, didn't we? And then we
Yeah.
decided we better shut up and talk about it on the podcast. But I've just got this really funny feeling that for the last 2 years, most people have been really hot on the Bills. Josh Allen, and they've gone under the radar a lot this year. Last few years, started amazing, tailed off and then into the playoffs. Flat to deceive, made some poor decisions, even Josh Allen in the games. And then this year, I just wonder if it'll flip the other way.
Yeah.
When nobody expects it.
And Paul, you gave me a look when I said about James Cook. He's got regular season, he had 1,100 yards rushing.
Yep.
He's looked decent. And I know the fault has always been the fact that Josh Allen has to do everything. He's not had to do that. Right, James Cook has been a more than serviceable running back. Kincaid has stepped up in terms of receiver. He's still got Dalton Knox there.
Dalton Knox has come back from injury, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which has helped quite a bit, I think.
Kahil Shakir has been a decent wide receiver as well.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis comes back next week. That's another option.
He's one of the most solid WR2s in the league
He
It can be.
when he wants to be.
tell you what, playoff Gabe Davis.
Playoff Davis is a different animal.
Playoff Gabe Davis convinced me to draft her in fantasy drafts a couple of years back in a lot of teams, and he let me down somewhat. But playoff Gabe Davis is a good player.
But they're playing Kansas, aren't they?
They are.
And I just
They're at home, though. Because they've managed to beat down Miami and take the
two seed.
They're the number 2 seed, so they're at home.
I can't see.
We'll get into predictions, but
I just can't see the Bills beating Spagnuolo.
Do you know
But
what? I thought the Steelers, this game was ruined by the fact that TJ Watt didn't play.
Yeah.
Because they are not the same team. And like that run that, Josh Allen did, it looked amazing. If you actually watch it, it was some god-awful tackling attempted in that run as well. You know, but
Well-
it looked amazing. It was a great, running touchdown. It was about 40 yards out or something, but 52 yards out. But it was
Second longest quarterback run ever in the playoffs, beaten by
Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick, 56 yards.
It was against the Packers, wasn't it?
It was.
He just ran all game.
that was in his debut game in the playoffs.
Yeah, but for
RPO. Was that Chuck Kelly? No, it was Harbour.
That was Harbour.
yeah.
Colin, could you just keep doing that
Chip Kelly.
all game?
The for the Steelers, like it wasn't as bad as the Eagles, but it was still pretty bad defensively to watch.
Wasn't great.
Tackling weren't great.
Yeah. So,
But-
let's sack Mike Tomlin.
But yeah, well, Tomlin refused to talk about his future at the press conference. He just sort of walked off.
Walked out, yeah.
He said he will return, apparently.
He's got 1 year left on his contract.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on how next year goes, if he has a similar season to this year,
You'd fire him.
I wouldn't fire him. No, he would just walk. I think he would just walk.
No, but
I think he'll just walk away.
The one thing that's different is the Steelers' history with
Yeah, they don't.
sacking
They don't
coaches.
fire
I'm
coaches.
just messing
I
around.
know you're just messing, but they don't. But he has the option to walk away next year.
They've had 3 coaches since the 60s, haven't they? So.
For Tomlin, it's very sort of it's similar to Belichick in a way. He's been able to do. He's got more stars on his defense, but he's been able to build a good defense that when they're there, that they can make a difference. But he doesn't have a quarterback.
No.
Mason Rudolph is the best quarterback he's got on the thing, and he's Mason Rudolph.
I'm sure he's been involved in choosing all those quarterbacks. So, like I say, I've got no beef with Mike Tomlin, and he's done well to get them to the playoffs, but, they weren't going to go on and do anything more, were they? So,
No.
they got to their point, their level. They were probably fortunate to scrape in,
I'd agree with
and
that.
fair play. They made it to the playoffs, but they could have turned up for one game. But without TJ Watt, they were never going to win that game, were they? I think this is the only game I got right.
Yeah,
Out of all the games, because it was
Yeah.
just no chance,
Nah.
The others,
a game too far for the Steelers.
yeah.
But they move on from Pickett now. They have, for me, I know quarterback is a problem, but they need something different.
Well, Pickett is just a backup now, but they do need to. I can predict you that as we go through the pre-draft, then the free agency, and then all that stuff. When we talk about the Steelers, we're going to be who's going to be the quarterback? Because are they going to bring one in?
That'd be the question.
There's some available, but
And then they end up with Duck Hodges.
that's it. First playoff game to feature 2 teams who changed offensive coordinators midway through the season.
Yeah, I did see that stat.
But yeah,
Worked for both though.
it has worked for both. But yeah,
Or Matt Canada.
wow, you shouldn't have been so shit.
Canada.
They did.
So news. It happened after we recorded last week. So basically, we finished recording last week, and Nick Saban retired, and then the next morning, Bill Belichick had been parted ways amicably
Moved for Mayo.
with the Patriots, and then replaced with Jared Mayo.
Although that did pique my interest about the Rooney Rule, because I was like, oh, do you not have to interview for these things? And then I went and found out that you don't have to if you've put
Promoting from within.
well, but you have to announce it first. You can't just promote
So
from
it
within.
was within his contract.
So
yeah.
there was apparently they announced to the league at the start of the season that if Bill went, they would be promoting. So it was already decided. If he went, that's what would happen.
There's a lot
Avoids
of
the Rooney Rule.
positive noises coming out from the Patriots. I know they will, won't they? Nobody's going to come out publicly and go, "This guy, God." But a lot of people saying if Bill goes, we want Mayo.
Yeah, apparently a bit of a character. Like he would turn up to meetings with a baseball bat and just literally just
Is this a few good men or something?
or just
Like,
literally just
he thinks better with a baseball bat.
I have meetings I'd like to turn up with a baseball bat.
Yeah,
But yeah,
so
it's
do I.
we'll talk about Bill because through the off season because probably should.
Griff will probably want to do a sort of tribute program or something to him when
He's not dead.
But he's also
He is to us now.
he's not retired, so he has had an interview
with Atlanta.
at the Falcons.
Tell us the time you got over great adversity, Bill. Amazing.
They,
what time's the interview?
they
28-3.
the Falcons have also interviewed Jim Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh's also been interviewed with the Chargers.
Most people seem to think that if he goes, it will be the Chargers, don't they? So
Seems like a good fit.
Seems like, yeah.
but he might just stay and take all the money in college as well.
I think he'll be back to the NFL.
I think he'll be back. I think this is the time.
I'd like to see him back.
I would as well.
Yeah. Well, when the announcements are made,
to go to the Chargers because he's a winner, and that's not what the Chargers do.
No, but yeah, I mean, Jim Harbaugh, maybe, but Belichick, going to interviews is like, it's like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good actor.
I doubt their interviews. I'm sure they're just discussions over lunch or something, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you just get the feeling Bill Belichick has a really boring wife?
He shopped her in, didn't he?
Yeah.
Some younger blonde.
No, I think
He's got a new one. Right,
yeah. So he's
It's a good point.
worth a
though,
lot of money.
I mean, you often hear like interviews, like offensive coordinators, like they got to prepare like a presentation or what they do.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
What
Bill
do you do, like,
Belichick.
what do you ask Bill Belichick to do?
I'm sure
sorry.
you just have lunch.
Yeah,
You just have
literally.
lunch. So what are you thinking, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
What would be what would you look at
Yeah.
if you came in? Where do you think our attention needs to be? They'd just tell you over lunch, wouldn't they? And then you go, hey, he seems all right. Or you go, he really is a bellend.
Or is it like Daniel Day-Lewis turning up to like the Amdram thing and going, "Now, can you show us what you do, mate?" Like,
Yeah.
can you do us a PowerPoint about your goals for next season? What you're going to do with Derek Ridder? Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So when I wrote this, the rumor was that Jason Kelce had told people he was going to retire because he's a podcaster now. He has on his podcast has announced he will announce his decision when the time is right.
He's retired, isn't he? He's just announced what's come next when the time is right.
No,
He hasn't retired.
No, he hasn't retired.
The NFL account were
Yeah, he has
announcing he's retired.
He's not going to announce what he's doing next because there's talk he will go into the media.
Oh, is there?
So I believe he has announced he's retired. He just hasn't announced what's next for him because there's lots of talk. Apparently, they do some sort of I don't know, like class thing where they go and do media stuff, and the feedback was really good.
No, Jason Kelce on his podcast, he will share decision on his retirement in the future because he was. It's too soon, like too hot-headed to announce it like straight away. He may still retire, and then he'll announce the thing. But yeah,
They've changed that thing because it definitely had said he had retired, and then they've changed that. Then
yeah.
And to be fair, you just wait to see the dollars and cents, don't you, before you make any decision?
Yeah.
Maybe, but I can imagine a world where both sort of retire.
Can you see him wearing a gold jacket in 5 years?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, as Hall of Famers play and go, I mean, he's possibly as certain as
Tom Brady.
not Tom Brady, but as many. For the non-quarterback positions, he's as pretty certain as they're going to be, I'm afraid. So yeah, we need to get Jared Allen and Torrey Holt and all these other people in before these.
I don't think the other Kelce will play more than another year.
No, same. Yeah,
Travis will only play another year, maybe.
I mean, if they won the Super Bowl, I think he'd be at risk this year.
Yeah, Tritons don't often last that long, do they? Some do, I know, but
Some go on forever.
but I don't know.
Jimmy Graham.
Antonio Gates.
He's
was
got
weighing
another
it like-
reason to be off now
Lewis.
as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Travelling around Europe.
Marcellus Lewis has a really boring wife.
and he'll make so much money doing whatever he wants because he's
Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend. He's pretty like if you've seen him on Saturday Night Live, he's pretty good. I'm sure he can. I mean, fucking hell, like OJ was never an actor and got by on force of personality. He made a admittedly hard to compare.
Have you watched the Naked Gun films?
They are brilliant.
Yeah, but
I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost Oscar worthy.
okay. So the divisional round. It should be mentioned. Caleb Williams is declared for the draft.
Yep, so he's always been told he's not going to the Bears.
Yeah, the reporting was he won't join the Bears, and but that seems to be false. But it keeps coming round.
I
So
want to keep that storyline going. I really want another John Elway
yeah.
draft story.
I don't see if they need him.
I agree. I wouldn't. I'd field around.
He's no upgrade on Fields.
And should we mention Louis Rees Zammit,
Yep.
who Welsh winger, international winger, has
Good winger.
has
Yeah.
called it a day with rugby to try and join the international pathway.
He's only 22.
Yeah.
So it's actually like Christian Wade went and obviously tried it and then was made the practice squad
older, wasn't
and then he came back. He still did come back to rugby, but obviously we've only just had the World Cup in rugby as well. So this gives him time to go out, try it for a couple of years, and he could still come back and make the next World Cup.
He's a different different level of physicality in how he's built compared to Christian Grade.
But they're not saying he's going to be running back.
No, I think he'll be more wide receiver or even a tight end.
They're saying potentially like a Debo mould, so
Wide
involved
back.
at times in the running game, but mainly used as a slot receiver.
They just wanted to get the ball in his hands.
Super quick.
He's a monster, isn't he?
He
When-
is.
Well, they reckon they clocked him. I think Tyreek's been clocked at like 25 or something, and Reece Sammett's been clocked at 26.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
So he is rapid.
And
If you
apparently
can get playing.
he's been a fan of the NFL since child as well.
Yeah.
This is his dream.
But what the practice squad salary, if he gets onto the practice squad, and obviously some teams get to have extra spaces, don't they, to be international players?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I think it's different divisions taking turns.
It's part of the pathway, and it's £176,000 to be on the practice squad.
That's more than I earn from playing for a Premiership rugby team.
Yeah.
For some, not all. Courtney Laws is on about 300,000.
Yeah.
No, but Courtney Laws is captain international and
Yeah,
Welcome to the team.
It's not that far off.
No, I bet you'd be on about 150.
Yeah.
It's not about the money. He's not earning
this is
on the
about-
practice squad. He's not on loads more money than he would be as a international rugby player.
fair enough. I mean,
Not loads. He's not like tripling his money or something.
No.
I was surprised we didn't see more of Christian Wade because he had that amazing breakout play in the pre-season.
A few injuries as well.
Oh, did he?
I think they were. I think as well.
Guy.
I think they were saying if he was smarter, he'd have scored a touchdown because he made a couple of decisions like that a proper punt returner would have not done. So like it's just one thing. I think the guy has physical traits, but maybe just
It's football know-how, isn't it?
yeah. And that it is hard because he's not been brought up in it.
Yeah.
But rugby is in trouble
Yeah.
if we're not careful
It is,
because a lot of talent, rugby, especially in the UK, they will, if the sort of thing works out, they will bleed talent because the money you can earn in the NFL compared to rugby union is massive.
Yeah.
Well, you already saw. That's for a rugby union podcast.
So, divisional round. Let's talk predictions. So, first game, Texans at Ravens.
Ravens.
I'm going Ravens.
I think it's a step too far for the Texans,
Yeah.
just because the Ravens' defense is so good. Actually,
Yeah.
not because the Ravens' offense is so good, but I'd say Ravens. I think it'll be a close.
I
game,
think it'll be a
actually.
close game.
This should be the best weekend of football this year.
Yeah.
And I'm at a fucking work event on Saturday night. In
Oh
Stoke.
no! Oh no!
Yeah, but can he do it on a cold night in Stoke?
Well, we'll see.
Well, I'll try.
I'm going for
She'll
the
let me.
I'm going for the Texans. I feel the Ravens. Again, we've made a point of how kind of that division has led to people flattering to deceive. I think the Texans are confident on form, and the Ravens
Beat the Niners at home comfortably. They're at home. Home matters in playoffs.
Yeah, I just, my gut is telling me the Ravens won't go all the way.
Remember the last time they were number one seed as well, and they got beaten in the first match. They were rusty. I just wonder if that. I don't think it will, but that's
So
always.
you're still going Ravens.
It's always a consideration with the number one seed after a bye week,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think especially the Ravens and the 49ers.
They've had
who,
2 weeks off, really. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
they had
didn't.
2 weeks off. Like, is that going to be an issue? It could well be. Like, the Texans are battle hardened. They've just come off a big win. I don't think it's as clear cut, but
Well, they've won 2 knockout games already. The Texans.
yeah.
The last game of
Yeah,
regular
yeah,
season
absolutely.
as well. So you're still going for the
I'm
Ravens.
still going with the Ravens, but yeah, agree with Paul. It might be a tight one.
I think it's tight.
I think it's a tight game.
Packers at 49ers. This is 1 o'clock on Sunday morning.
I'm going to come in before
Go
the
on,
Doom
you go.
Merchants do.
Yeah, go on.
The 49ers are going to drop them. This is going to be an absolute... I can't think of the right word. This is going to be a shellacking, walloping, drubbing, destroying.
Do you know what? It's the image of Duncan's face if we lose that's worrying me more than anything. Like how happy he'll be because we've given him some donkins over the last few years.
Even the last time I played them, where we scraped through at their place in the cold. That was probably the low point for Packers fans.
The 49ers beat the Packers in the playoffs. That's the rules. That's the law.
Yeah, but Rodgers is gone.
I think it'll be close,
They're playing really well.
but I think the 49ers win.
Defense of the 49ers is better than what Dallas put up. They'll get
Yeah.
They'll get much more pressure on Stroud.
And also, your offense is 1,000 times better than
And
Dallas.
McCaffrey will be rested for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The running game will be so much better than what Dallas had. And so I think you made the point earlier. You can still run against the Packers.
And don't get me wrong, Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb are good.
I'm going to say the 49ers.
I think
like it.
Go on.
I'm with you. I'm going to say the 49ers, but I also think this is
It's a tight- I think
potential
it'll be tight.
banana slip.
I don't think it is.
Ayuk and Debo are such a different threat to what they're not standard wideouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Also, you've got Shanahan, which is so different to Mike McCarthy and the Garage Boys.
Till he bottles it.
Griff has also gone with the Ravens and the Niners. So Buccaneers at the Lions. I think we've mentioned this
Lions.
already.
I'm going
Me and
the
Gary are
Lions.
going for the Lions. I think the Buccaneers have done well, but
Yeah, it's a step too far.
too far.
I think the Buccaneers are a much better team than the Rams, and they only just beat the Rams. So I'm going for the Bucks. I know I'm potentially playing contrarian to every standard thing here, but
Have you gone for away teams on every single game so far?
No, you went for the 49ers, didn't you?
No, you went
Yeah.
Packers, didn't you?
I went 49ers. I think
did you?
I thought
Oh, right,
the 49ers are going to
Oh,
absolutely
yeah,
wipe
you
the
went
floor
for
with them.
49ers, yeah.
So I like the Bucks. I think
Have we all picked the same pretty much so far?
Yeah.
Including Griff, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's Griff gone for?
The Lions.
Lions.
I'm going for the Bucks.
Chiefs at Bills.
Hang on, I've not gone for anyone.
Oh, sorry.
I'm going for the Lions.
Yeah, of course you are. Chiefs at the Bills.
Bills for me. I've got a sneaky feeling they might win the lot
I think it's Bills.
right now.
I'm going Bills.
I'm not doing it again to be the contrarian. I picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season, so I'm going with the Chiefs.
I think the Bills are much better defense than what the Chiefs had
Griff
to play.
also going for the Bills.
Bills will get pressure on Mahomes.
I think
It
the Bills
will,
beat
but
the
I think they
Ravens
do.
as well.
I think the injuries on defense may pay for the Bills. I think
Potentially.
potentially they have a lot of. They had a lot of injuries coming in. They've had a lot of injuries last week. I just think they. I think
Can you even imagine a Bills Lions Super Bowl? Can you even imagine that?
no.
Both teams never won it.
you
That'd be
imagine?
mad.
That would be great. But let's.
Texans Lions
And
Super
then,
Bowl.
if the Bills lost again, can you imagine that?
Well, yeah, I can imagine that.
I think
yeah.
that'd be great.
Texans
So-
Lions.
I mean, to be fair, like curses and bad luck wouldn't know what to do with a
Yeah,
Bills Lions
most-
Super Bowl.
Most independent people are now saying they want the Lions to win it. Yeah,
Of course.
but I would probably.
It's rumbling. Sorry.
Oh wow, John's really going for it. I would probably say I wouldn't mind seeing the Bills win it. I'd rather it was an AFC team if my team didn't win it.
Yeah. Well,
And out of what's left, I'd probably say the Bills.
I still think you guys are going to win it. Yep. We're not going to have the hottest seat of the week because
You've named about 80.
it's Mike McCarthy.
two.
It's McCarthy.
We've named a hot bench this week rather than a hot seat.
MVP of the week.
CJ Stroud.
I was going to say
Baker.
Love.
Baker.
Josh Allen.
No,
Hang
that
on,
was just.
Jordan Love?
Jordan Love.
Yeah. Jordan
Yeah,
Love.
go on then, Jordan Love. Yeah.
Jordan Love.
CJ Stroud. Has to be.
No,
Their
Stroud.
numbers were almost exactly
Yeah,
the
also,
same.
I think Jordan Love's performance was better.
It was definitely more unexpected.
They rested CJ Stroud for the final quarter.
And imagine, like,
Because of
remember-
how good a job he did.
plus
because of how good a
remember-
job the defence
remember what
did.
he did to Jerry Jones as well. He gets
Yeah.
bonus points for that.
I suppose, yeah. But watching
And does anyone have a sweetest player of the week?
The Musgrave touchdown.
The Musgrove touchdown was brilliant. I like the Shakir one where he sort of ducked out of a tackle, beat a player. That was quite good.
The Tyreek Hill touchdown was actually very good as well.
Yeah.
The Josh Allen run.
Josh Allen run.
It's a 52-yard run.
The tackling was awful.
Mahomes getting his helmet smashed in.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
But I like the Josh Allen one was. I know the tackling was bad, but to see him stop and then go through the gears again I thought that was quite cool.
Can I ask you a serious question? How would you know if Mahomes is concussed?
Do you know what? I thought that. Like
Stafford was concussed. Did you not see
Stafford,
the images of that?
Yeah.
Like,
both of them, and they're both just your helmet's just been smashed. Surely you have to go for a check.
playoffs, mate. Then no one cares now.
Did you see Edelman on a podcast talking about the concussion protocol? Him and one of the other old Patriots players, they used to look after each other. And apparently, like, if once you do the punt return, one of them would run up to the other, hold your knee. Hold your knee. It's Sunday. It's October the 3rd. Hold your knee.
Well, there you go.
I'll find it for you and send it to you. It's amazing.
Yeah, but you kind of both of them should have gone for a concussion. Like
Yeah.
Stafford's one was worse because you could
Stafford was out.
Yeah.
His hands went, didn't
it
they?
looked ugly.
Oh, yeah. The moment you jazz hands,
Yeah,
there's
Yeah.
the blue tent.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, enjoy the weekend. It generally is one of the better, like, properly competitive
High
weekends.
quality football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be the best.
We've lost the bad teams by now. You know, it's
Yeah, the Eagles are gone.
Yep.
yeah.
No, it should. It should be a good weekend of football.
Yeah. So yeah,
And the
enjoy.
Sunday night game starts at 8, doesn't it? First one's
Yeah.
at 8.
Yes.
8:00. Nice.
8:00 then 11:30.
Yeah. Better for a Sunday.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll enjoy, and we'll see you next week, and we'll discuss what happened in the Super Divisional Round. But yeah, until then, bye.
Bye.